Welcome to the Real People, Real Business Show. My name is Stephanie Hayes, and I'm a business strategist and coach who loves to speak with like-minded entrepreneurs to share their real stories and the gritty details on building their businesses. On this show, you won't hear about the glamorized entrepreneurship journeys that you see online. You won't be told how to make six figures in 6 weeks. Instead, you can expect to hear real, vulnerable, and inspiring stories you can relate to that have helped create the foundation of each of our guests' businesses. Goodbye, boss babes. Hello, real-life entrepreneurs. Today, I'm so excited to welcome Yvonne Heimann. Yvonne helps digital entrepreneurs dramatically increase profits and reclaim lost time by teaching them how to implement proven processes, systems, and automation. Welcome to the show, Yvonne. So excited to have you here. And I have to say, if you are not watching this, I am wearing, one of the things about Yvonne is that her business is called Ask Evie. And she has this shirt that she wears all the time with her logo on it. And I was like, if we're going to do a podcast interview together, I need a shirt too. So I have an Ask Evie shirt.
I'm loving it. I'm loving it.
Oh,
those t-shirts,
so good.
My girls are literally, because I am a swag W. Everybody listening can figure out the rest on that. I am picky when it comes to swag, which meant I'm working with Press and Sovo for those t-shirts. I need triple blend. It needs to be soft. It needs to be a women's cut. It needs to be a V-neck. So I am quite precise on what I like when it comes to swag or not. So all of my girls are always like, so when are we getting my new t-shirt? Because I've been wearing it for the last 2 years.
Well, I think this is a first. I think this is the first time I have worn someone's swag on a podcast, and I'm so excited to be doing it. But I mean, that's how you are in your business in general. So let's dive in. Tell me a little bit more about what you're doing and what you got going on and who you're serving and how you built this thing.
That's a whole bunch all in one. So what do I do is I am using my seeing systems where other people see chaos to the advantage for my clients. So I see structure everywhere, even if a lot of other people don't see that. How does that look like for my clients? It looks like when they are in the struggle of scaling, usually somewhere in the range of 100K revenue, wanting to upgrade, that's why usually when that pain points hits of I want to outsource, I want to do all the things, but oh my God, now I need to train a team and I'm spending 3 times the amount of time to train somebody and I still need to prove it. This doesn't make sense. Why am I hiring people? I'm spending more time. When that stage happens, that's usually when I come in and we then work on implementing systems, frameworks, and automation to scale their operations, their team, and their office. And how did I get here? Pretty much just following the yellow brick road. I'm like, back in Germany, I was an electrician. When I came to the States, I went back into hospitality because it was easy. And then with my late husband, jumped into his agency, which was focused on video creation, but they needed social media and web design. So I got thrown into all of that, which then resulted in, when he passed away, I looked at, okay, what do I have? I had both of the companies, what was happening? And I realized that people came to me for web design and ended up leaving with full-on business consulting. And that's when Ask Evie started to become what it is today.
And so tell me a little bit more about how you're working with your clients right now, and who are they specifically, and what are you doing with them?
So specifically digital entrepreneurs that are doing a lot in the content creation area, meaning course creators, consultants that are creating social media as well as YouTube content, or even digital marketing agencies, that content sphere. I am coming in as a consultant, meaning often enough when clients come to me, they're like, Evie, we need ClickUp. We need a project management tool to solve our problems. And I'm like, let's look at the company. Let's see what's happening. So I start with the big picture and look at everything that's happening in the company. Where are the bottlenecks? Where are we getting stuck? Where does communication not happening? Where are client deliverables not happening? What tools are you using? How could we automate this? So I really look at all of the moving pieces that happens in their business, and then we start making sense of that. I have a SOAR framework, which stands for systemize, optimize, automate, review, and then rinse and repeat, that we go through to really streamline their business, clean up their processes, and help the team just be happy in the position they are and what they are doing, so they can enjoy what they're doing and being more productive for us.
Yeah, that's the big promise, right? Is how do I start building out from here? Because scaling a business to me is like doing more of the same thing in a more optimized fashion. And I think a lot of people feel like in order to scale, that means they need to hire people. But I think there's a whole bunch of different ways that you can scale. And I think part of the work that you're doing is helping them understand that, right?
Correct. I know scaling is quite a broad term, and it's a different perception for everybody. To you, it's doing more with doing less. For others, it's the money focus. For other, it's the more client focus. What it really comes down to, no matter what scaling means to you, is optimizing your business. And correct, you don't always have to outsource to scale your business. If you are lucky enough to start with your systems early on, meaning get the information out of your head, especially when somebody starts as a solopreneur in their business, everything is in your head. So the moment you are hitting your max capacity and you're ready to outsource, now how? I unluckily not yet can plug into your brain and just download all the information. So starting early on to really record all the things that are happening in your business will make this easier. And bringing it into an online task management tool and in a project management tool that allows you to automate, that already right there saves you in the beginning from hiring a business manager. You don't have to have a business manager or a project manager if you can automate those admin tasks. There is so many things happening behind the scenes that we need to take care of. A lot of that are repeating tasks, or they are triggered by something specific. If this happened, we need to do that. Most of that can be automated. And now suddenly you don't need a project manager yet or a business manager.
Yeah. So can we dive into your background with ClickUp? Because ClickUp has been, can we talk a little bit, about what ClickUp is? And then how did ClickUp sort of, I can't even say it. How did ClickUp, I have to think about it, factor into the growth of this current business?
So ClickUp is a project management tool, kind of like Asana or Monday. Those are some common ones out there. Some people like to throw Trello in there. Trello, unluckily, is not well at helping you scale. You easily can reach the ceiling with that one. But yeah, it's a tool that allows you to manage your business online, assign tasks, and just have a really fancy to-do list. Now, for me, ClickUp is the project management tool of choice simply because we can, on one hand, automate a lot of stuff internally. So what I just talked about with the admin tasks, with all of that nitty-gritty, tiny tasks that are happening behind the scenes, we can automate a lot of that. But also the team aspect of the tool. So I am, as you can tell, quite system oriented. I'm a task list kind of girl. I'm linear thinker. Now, I work with a lot of creative minds. Creative minds don't necessarily like just a task list view. They might want to see just a mind map on how this actually works, or they prefer the Kanban view, or They can't deal with all the noise that's happening around them in the project management tool. They just want to have an easy dashboard of, here's the resources I need, here's what I need to get done, and here's my chat to talk to somebody that I need to talk to. All of that is possible. So that human aspect of your business and supporting your team at being the best they can be, that's why I love using ClickUp. And I personally came across ClickUp right in the beginning, in the first year before it was the big thing that it is right now. And I actually ended up becoming their startup evangelist, working with the developers. I get to, not that we can tell anybody, but I might be able to see the preview of the version 3.0 right now and give feedback as they are improving the tool. So I'm closely involved with the developer in the company too, simply because I love what they're doing.
ClickUp has been like an important part of your business.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And it's almost been part of your marketing strategy, hasn't it?
The interesting thing is ClickUp is kind of like the in for my clients. Yep. So what often happens for my clients is, as I mentioned, they are in that scaling phase. They are in this moment of, oh my God, how am I going to do all of this? I need a project management tool. ClickUp looks cool. We need ClickUp. So that's how my clients perceive initially what their problems are and how they can solve it. So that's how a lot of my clients come into my door. They say, hey, Evie, we need ClickUp. There's a lot possible. We see the value in it, but holy, we need help setting it up. And that's kind of that initial pain point, that initial trigger that gets them in my door. And then we look at the whole thing of the whole business of, okay, not just working in that one silo of ClickUp, of that project management tool, but how does it affect and work with the rest of the business?
I think what I love so much about this and about your business is that you're kind of executing, whether it was intentional or by accident, you're kind of executing perfectly on that meet people where people are at, and then move them along to the vision that they didn't even know that they need to have. And I think that's some of the work that we've been doing together is like envisioning what, the work that you were doing anyway, and the vision that you could see for your clients. Staying focused just on doing sort of ClickUp implementations was really like not filling your buckets, right? Because you have this much broader vision of the business and the work that you can do for your clients. So let's talk a little bit about where that sort of shift has happened.
That was a big piece of us working together, where I'm like, okay, I can see the big picture. I can see the granular. I know where the issues are, but I also wasn't necessarily talking my client's language, simply because I am a solutions person. So I had that struggle of, yes, I was meeting them where they're at, but didn't actually realize that I was doing it. And then guiding them along the way to being that inclusive. So that's why I loved working with you. You took all of my systems and list thinking and put the human touch to it. And that's where everything is evolving to literally right now as we speak, where it is this, I've seen the issues of working in silos in a business. Initially, it was for me the marketing aspect of things, where paid media didn't talk to organic media, didn't talk to business planning, and everybody was their own thing, and it didn't fit together back in the day. Now I have the same view of the internal processes, where you have teams, especially in bigger companies, that are working on this project versus that project, and they're actually working against each other. So yeah, it was quite eye-opening to really realize that full path of they think this is the solution, but now let's guide them to an all-encompassing solution, if that makes any sense.
Something that's farther reaching, like they think they've got a project management problem, which they probably do, but what does that mean? Like, what does that mean for the rest of their business? And how can you now help them actually scale, right? That's kind of the vision. And I think that so perfectly suits your skill set and your kind of your desired path as well. And that's what we want in business, right? We want the business owner to love their business, and then their clients love the business because of that.
And the fun thing for me was realizing it's also not just the business, it's also the people in the business. I love people, but we are usually the weakest link. No matter if that is the CEO that has all the things in his head and trying to get it out, but not getting it out. If it is a team member that just might not be happy in the exact position and work they are doing, if it's interpersonal stuff, we are often the weak link of not implementing, do as I say, not as I do, and all those things. So bringing in my NLP knowledge and not just on paper systemizing the business and optimizing it, but also in person, in the environment, in the interpersonal connection, really diving into teams and figuring out on a personal level, okay, what are you passionate about? What drives you? What motivates you? Why are you here? And then aligning their goals and their values with the company values, which now, yes, on the bottom line for us as the company is going to bring more income and we're going to have less churn time. But it also helps make our team more happy. Now we have less overturn because they love what they do. They come into the office with a smile on their face, ready to crush it. And they're not going to be looking for another job. Suddenly, if things get bad, we just came through 2 years of COVID, right? You see people leaving jobs left and right because they don't feel appreciated. They don't feel like they have any investment in the company. Now, really paying attention to them, aligning their personal values with our company values, potentially switching them in the position because they ended up with something doing that they actually don't care about doing. Now, suddenly you have a workforce that isn't just happy to come in the job, but they feel as part of the company. They're going to stick around. They're going to fight for you if times get tough. And they really going to be a piece of your vision.
So this is sort of a new focus for your business, right? Like extending your reach into helping people build teams and helping them understand how to be leaders in a business that is scaling, because it is quite a transition, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. That is, as you can tell, I'm like, I'm getting all excited about that piece. Simply because I think where that's coming from is I've never really done well in the workforce. Maybe because I had a lot of bosses that did the whole do as I say, not as I do, and I don't do well with that. But I also just want people to be happy. One of the things that I often say is life is too short to do the things you want to do tomorrow. I don't want people to be miserable in their job and just be there because they have to pay the bills. But it also is an efficiency piece on the business side, where it's like, just like bringing in new clients is going to cost you more money than actually retaining your clients. Keeping your team, supporting your team is also going to be less strainful on your business and make your life more fun than bringing in new team members all the time. It just makes sense to me.
What do people get wrong about scaling their business?
What do people get wrong about scaling their business? I think one of the biggest issues is this leftover hustle mentality. scaling your business doesn't mean you have to work your booty off. It doesn't mean you have to work 24/7, start at 5 o'clock in the morning and go to bed at midnight. If you are doing it right, scaling can happen sustainable, you having fun and having time off. Again, don't get me wrong, there is seasons. There is seasons of implementing and you are passionate about what you're doing and you're going to work more on your business than in the next season where you might be raising your child, giving birth, going on vacation. So I don't believe in quote work-life balance. It's not a balance. It's never going to be level. What I do believe in, it's seasons. Just like nature has its seasons, so does our business. And with that, if you are prepping for scaling, meaning in my SOAR framework, there is that piece of review, repeat, rinse and repeat. In that review phase, we look at all we did, and then we also future-proof this whole thing. So cool. We systemized everything. We optimized it. We automated it. And now we look at the numbers. What's working, what's not working, and we future-proof it by asking, okay, what would happen if we now suddenly double or triple our clientele? What would happen if I take half the time to work on my business and I say, I'm only going 3-day work week? What would break? What happens in those situations when we put that kind of strain on our business? That exercise then is going to give you the information, what you need to implement or clean up, systemize next to be able to do that, to be ready for something like COVID hitting the world population and everything shutting down. And with that process of getting out of being reactive and just reacting of what comes towards you and becoming proactive, of asking those questions, okay, what would happen if you now suddenly get ready to scale and you are ready to just pivot when you need to pivot or adjust your business accordingly to grow it where you want it to grow?
Yeah, it's a big, I mean, that whole strategic angle is something that people just, it doesn't come naturally, right? And we're really too close to our business to be able to see the vision and how it's going to be executed, right? And so that's where I think that your expertise comes in, is helping people understand how they can execute on that sort of that desire, because I really believe people need to have a business that that is in alignment with what they actually really want. And there's always a way to do it, right?
And that's where it also comes down to figuring out the C-level ownership, CEO, whatever the company structure is, of what are their values. So are you a new mom? Are you wanting to spend time with your family? What is that deeper underlying value that you are trying to fulfill for yourself, as well as discovering the company values? What are you providing to your clients? Why does this company exist? Aligning those and accordingly structure your business around it. We are in 2022. Nobody can tell you how to shape your business, what type of offer it's going to be. There is so many different ways of approaching your business. We just need to figure out your values, your company values, and what that's going to look like, and build your business around that. That's why we started our own business.
Well, totally. So you've mentioned your SOA framework. Can you talk a little bit more about that?
So SOAR framework stands for systemize, optimize, automate, and then rinse and repeat. And we do that in those in that roundabout, usually about every quarter in a time frame, and we go through our 3 Ps. We are going through our processes, meaning what processes are running in the company, which ones of those do we need to systemize, optimize, automate, and then go back around and recheck them. Our programs, that's a lot. I'm like, if you're just halfway a nerd like me, we have how many lifetime deals sitting around? We have how many tools sitting around? Yes. Looking through those tools, what makes sense? What do you maybe want to kick off? Because if we are looking at the automation step, some tools might not be talking nicely to each other. And does it really matter if we are using MailerLite or MooSend or whoever out there as an email provider if we can easier connect those? So looking at our programs, what makes the most sense for us? What can we just kick off? What should we add? Those kind of things. And then people, as bad as it sounds, again, I'm seeing systems everywhere. Yes, you can systemize and optimize people. As I already mentioned earlier, really diving into the personality of your team. What fires them up? What are they passionate about? How can you bring that into the business to make them happier? And honestly, therefore, add to your bottom line. And that's really how everything comes together between programs, processes, and people, and then systemizing, optimizing, automating, review, and rinse and repeat them.
So how is this different? How is like scaling different for a digital entrepreneur as opposed to someone who may be running like an offline business or like a manufacturing business or something like that?
Yeah, that's the reason why I focus on digital entrepreneurs. When you look at brick and mortar stores, when you look at manufacturing, there are so many pieces in there where, look at Amazon. Amazon resellers have become a huge market. They are buying a specific product overseas. They are bringing it in. Now you need property here in the States to have these products initially, because when you start this out, you need to check that the quality is right. You have that whole quality control piece. You need people that are handling all of that. You then are shipping it potentially to Amazon, or you're shipping it out to your customers yourself in the beginning. There is so much happening that is not just digital and easily scalable. You need to be on site. You potentially need to grow your warehouse. There is just so much in tangible products in I can't think of the right word, where it's not just ones and zeros online. There is just way more brick and mortar type stuff happening where I'm like, you're better off if you have somebody on site that is better knowledgeable with the whole property management, with the whole production, as well as product development and all of that, where I'm like, there's some great people out there that are doing amazing work with brick and mortar stores. I'm better on the digital with digital content creation and online education. Okay. And I'm more excited about the digital.
Let's talk about digital content creation. You put out some of the best consistent content of anybody. So tell me a little bit more about how digital content creation has sort of factored into the growth of your business.
So first off, the only reason why I'm producing content regularly is because I have an external editor for my videos that keeps me accountable to record. So again, just find your triggers that get you going. Mine happen to be external. But yeah, the YouTube channel where I educate people on ClickUp as well as business efficiency, it has helped really grow my social footprint, but also how people find me and how people perceive me. Initially, I started with a YouTube channel because, not that I would say I have an accent, but apparently people do hear an accent. It was way worse in a few years back, and it was easier for me, rather than just audio teach people, to audio video teach people. When they see my face, when they see my lips moving, it's easier to understand, but they also do understand when I make a sarcastic joke, because they can see it in my face that I am joking. So that's how my YouTube channel initially started. And pretty much 95% of my clientele that comes in has seen some form of YouTube content from me. And it's oh yeah, she knows what she's talking about. It's a perfect social proof. And for the ones that are not ready to hire me yet, it's, hey, we have an issue with this. Cool. Here's video 1, 2, and 3. Just work through that, implement that. Message me in the community and we'll help you through. And it has become a great part in providing resources, but also generating leads, because once they work through my video and their business is running smoother, they have more on their bottom line quote left over to put back into their business. And chances are they're going to come back to me because I already helped them build the thing, and now we can take it to the next step.
So here's the $1 million question. What's the trick in creating digital content that is going to result in lead generation or in building your audience? Like, you come up with so much content. How are you deciding on what that content is and how it's being delivered?
Oh, if I ever can actually get a whole framework on this, I'll let you know. No, that's one of the big things where I think a lot of us content creators struggle here and there. It is always an ebb and flow with content creation. For me, I do have an online community, so I always collect questions, no matter if they are happening from client calls, if they're happening in my community. I just had a conversation this morning with a dear friend of mine. She brought a couple of things up where I have a running list of questions and issues people run into that, if they fit my framework on what I want to talk about that month, will end up on the YouTube channel and will be covered. Do I struggle sometimes with what to talk about? Yes. If I would have the YouTube algorithm fully down, I would be somewhere else with my channel right now than where I am. But there's some great resources out there. So for me, I'm working with Daniel Batal right now, for example, to get out of my analytical mindset and just go for the SEO on YouTube, and more starting to talk to people. So I don't optimize titles on YouTube anymore just to hit the search engine. I actually build the thumbnails and the titles around now, again, rather than offering the solution, talking to the problem. So we've been testing a lot of things over there to just grab people's attention where they're at. So just like in business, it seems to be working pretty good on YouTube too, to just grab people in the moment of where they're at and be engaging. It took me a while to talk to a camera straight up and not like read off or really be engaging with the camera. Just imagine somebody behind it, or get yourself a teleprompter and put a funny face on it. To really talk to the camera when you're recording that YouTube video as if you are talking to somebody that has that issue right now.
What do you think is the sort of optimal frequency to create content?
I don't think there necessarily, quote, is an optimal frequency as long as you are consistent. If your consistency means once a month, go for once a month. Batch your content, meaning have a couple of videos ready, record them, get them edited, get ahead of the game in case something happens that screws with your calendar. Once you have built up a great library, cool, then step up your consistency to twice a month, every other week, or maybe weekly. Consistency is key rather than the quantity. And then make sure you are repurposing that content. Just because you plugged a video on YouTube, don't just leave it there. pull out little snippets. Use Descript to turn your video into a blog post. If you look at my blog, we actually run 2 different blog posts. Some of them are really just a short little intro, and you then have the full-on transcription. Others are full-on written blog posts. Don't overthink it. Really just go for getting it out there. There is missing letter that then can automatically repurpose your blog post. There is repurpose.io to take that big video and make little clips out of it that you then can share. Again, you made the work of recording and editing this video, which is like what, somewhere between 5 to 12 minutes usually. Make use of it. Grab snippets out of it, turn it into social media, repurpose it, get it out there. We all know that social media, just because somebody is your follower doesn't mean they saw the first post and heard about what you were talking about.
Right. I mean, that's why we talk about consistency so much, is because I know that people might view 80 of your posts before they decide to take action. And then there's going to be that one little thing. So I think a lot of people get really like, kind of wound up about having the right content, whereas your content creation is really about showing up, right? Really about reminding people that you exist, isn't it?
And you're not going to be able to tell, quote, the right content without doing it. And what I mean by right content is the content that connects. Again, it comes back around to me being so solution-minded, but my clients are in the weeds of it. They don't know what their solution is yet. I need to meet them where they're at in their problem. My brain is not going to step out of that solution mind if I don't just put content out there to see what gets engaged with and to just test and do. And recovering perfectionist here, don't get me wrong. Everything that goes out, I would love to be perfect, but I'm also a data person. So my personal practice right now is stepping away from this. Everything has to be perfect. It doesn't. It's all just data. Put it out there, test what's happening, test what they connect with, and adjust accordingly.
Yeah, that experimenter's mindset. I know that I talked about that recently in one of my posts, and it's really critical in getting past that perfectionism, because the experimentation is what is like good information, right? That's what gets us closer to what we want to be able to create. And I look at all of your content and I think, gosh, it's so polished. It looks so great. And you're probably looking at it going, I see this like piece here that just didn't turn out the way I wanted it to. Yep. And that's forever going to be reality, right? For all of us. But from someone else's perspective, they're just like, oh, I didn't think about that, right? Do you offer any services, or do you intend to offer any services where you're actually helping people with that content creation, because you seem to have such expertise and such a process established?
Yes, I actually am. So you are the first one to publicly get to hear this. I am working on changing my approach, which also comes back to don't listen to people telling you how you need to run your business, build your own. I am deep into content creation, into automating that, because that's 50% of my business. So we have built a lot of workflows, automations, and processes for that. And I have built courses and templates in the past to help people do the same thing. And I realized for myself, I don't want to build courses. I don't want to be there in okay, now I'm supposed to market this course, and now I'm supposed to market that course. So what's happening behind the scenes right now is I am taking all of that and I am building a resource library. Part of that is going to be the content creation. Part of that is just getting started with ClickUp. Part of that is how to manage your podcast guests. So there's a whole bunch of different topics that's going to be in there. But rather than boxing it in for me or my audience as you need to buy this course and that course and this template, we are building a full-on resource library to how to boss your business and simply run a business efficiently with all of these different topics as videos in there with unlimited access.
And this is like so close to my heart because so much of what I talk about is creating assets, and you've taken all the stuff you've created already and now you're building an asset from it, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I love it.
Yep.
Okay,
and it's like it's not, I love this feeling of boxing in. It's like not boxing in, wrong language. I love this feeling of not being boxed in. It's just like I had so many people reach out to me. Do I need this? Do I need that? Do I need this course or that template or everything? And now it's like, go knock yourself out. All of the resources are there. You can watch it all. You can build it yourself. You can grab the template for it. We already have ideas on how to upgrade to that. But first, the Access library that's going to be a Q4 project till that comes up. But I'm really excited about that one.
Yeah, I'm excited about this for you as well. I think that because of when I look at your business and I see all of your kind of lead generation activities and like where a lot of it is coming from, I think it's going to really like maximize your profitability.
And it's going to streamline it for my audience. I'm like, when you look at my YouTube, that's what YouTube is.
Yeah.
Pick this video and there is a piece of this and there is a piece of that. It is going to make it really, really easy for people that are not yet at the budget of hiring me or working with a consultant to be able to see how we have grown a business as a one-woman show and how you can do it with all the ins and outs, with all the automations and all of that. So I'm excited.
Yeah, I am too. I can't wait for you to build it. Okay, so tell me a little bit about what's next for you.
What's next? Building that Access library, writing my book. So I am also just started writing a how-to book on ClickUp. Title is work in progress. I'm waiting for the publishing house to decide what they want to do with that. So that is happening behind the scenes and should be getting published in January. I think that was our deadline. And living life and loving life in San Diego, finally going out and getting to test all of the amazing restaurants we have here.
Well, and I love that that's your answer because yes, I mean, you have big plans for your business and to really level up kind of the work that you're doing, but it's also about getting back to you. And I think that a lot of people don't recognize and acknowledge that. And it's actually a part of your business plan.
Life is too short to do the things you want to do tomorrow. Again, I love my work. I love my business. I can spend 24/7 in my business 7 days a week till I hit rock bottom and I'm burned out. Not because I have to, but because I love my business. So in my personal growth, that big piece right now is really paying attention to me too. Because if I don't go out, to me, food is an experience that's what feeds me. So going out and enjoying those kind of things now validate what I'm doing in my business. It celebrates my business rather than me putting all the effort into my business. Again, I love doing that, but sooner or later I start regretting my business because I'm always just working. So my personal goal and process right now is to really take a day a week, take myself out. That's a whole nother learning process of I don't have to wait for friends to go out with me. And just enjoy all I have worked for. I'm like, I live in San Diego. Why would I? Yeah. Extroverted introvert. I'm happy on my couch. I need to get my booty out too.
Yeah, I'm the same way. And I found that like after COVID, I almost make excuses for not going out. And I used to be like out all the time. So it's been an interesting learning process to kind of come back to that and realize it's not serving me. Okay, there's a question that I ask everybody, and I want to hear your answer to it as well. And this is our last question because we're coming up on time. But what's the difference between what we hear out there in the online business world and what's real?
In my area, it's still the hustle mentality that I see it finally leaving. I see it finally getting less. Back in the day, Gary Vee was the big one on that. You have to hustle. And I'm like, no, you don't. You really don't. Figure out what you want, figure out how to make it happen, and build the business around your lifestyle. If I have learned something in my 40 years around the sun, is life is too short to do the things you want to do tomorrow. Stop hustling and just working for your retirement, and find that season, find that balance of living life now while running your business. It's 2022. It's possible. You don't have to hustle your booty off.
And I think a lot of people are like coming out of this whole COVID era with this realization that the rest of their life does matter. And we're not really willing to accept a work environment that doesn't allow us at least that kind of flexibility to be people who live their lives, right?
Yep.
Okay, I love it.
That definitely was a big wake-up call.
Yeah,
for a lot of people.
Yeah, totally. I agree. Okay, so we're closing in on time. I want to thank you so much for taking the time to chat with me today. You know, I love your business and I love you. And I am so excited to be wearing your t-shirt. Can you tell the listeners how they can find you and maybe where they can get a t-shirt too?
If you're looking for really soft t-shirts that are women's cut and v-neck, because somehow every swag seems to be crew neck all the time, you can find me at askevie.com. That's ASKYVI.com. Yes, there's a swag store. That's a tongue breaker. There is a swag store too, where you can buy different t-shirts. Yes, gentlemen, you can find your crew neck in there too. And I'm on all social media at Ask Evie. I was lucky enough to get my username everywhere. And most of my stuff is based on YouTube. So that's where all of my content starts.
Awesome. We'll put links to all of your channels in the show notes. And I recommend you go and check Evie out if you're interested in ClickUp, if you're interested in scaling your business, if you are really stuck on that execution step between, your strategy and how that actually comes to be inside your business. And that's a wrap. So I want to thank you, Evie. I'm so happy we had the opportunity to chat with you today and hear more about how Ask Evie came to be, your experiences along the way, and what the future of your business entails. And thank you for tuning into this episode of Real People, Real Business, where we get the real entrepreneurial stories and journeys that you can relate to. The show notes, resources, and any offers from this episode are available on my website and social media platforms. So thank you for joining us today. And if you've enjoyed today's content, I would love for you to give us a review on whatever platform you're on to help us share these genuine stories with an even bigger audience. Until next time, keep building, keep dreaming, and keep being real.